While we were visiting with Sarah, you know who walked in?
Yes,
to the show?
do. Amber
Whiting and her husband Trent. She's the new head basketball coach for BYU women.
Trent still looks like he looked trim like I did in that picture that they photoshopped. He's looking good.
But he's real.
He's looking like he's staying fit. Now he doesn't get to come on because he's not a coach. Amber gets to come on, but I'm pretty impressed with how good Trent's looking. I bet he can still shoot it too.
They can all shoot it in that family. So Amber's standing by. We're going to visit with her in just a second.
Is Amber going to give us a prediction?
Let's have Amber come over and assume her spot.
This is
here
your spot,
on the
right
Wise
here,
Guys.
Yeah, and this is and live stream. This is like Dave and I are getting used to this format because we're used to our whole lives like being in a studio where you go to commercial breaks and everything's so formal and scripted, and we love this because it's just fun.
And we just talk to folks all over the world.
We just had Brandon Doman on for a while, and Brandon was.
There's Jack Hadley.
Was great fun.
He's helping get this situated. So
Jack is our coordinating producer. That's what we're going to call him. Actually, he just runs everything.
And it's his house.
Wait.
But we didn't say his address. We just said his house.
Dave's going to give it away. We always
just like the Marriott Center is Amber's house. Everyone
it's an undisclosed location is what we always say.
Our next guest is the new head coach of the BYU women's basketball team. Amber Whiting played for Trent Shippen in the 2000-2001 season when Jeff Judkins was an assistant coach, and now 22 years later, she's got the opportunity of succeeding Juddy as the head coach. Married to former Cougar Trent Whiting, who played for our friend Steve Cleveland the same year that Amber was on the team. We welcome you back to Provo. We welcome you to the Wise Guys. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Is it because Blaine's so intimidating? Is that what it is?
He's got his guns over here.
Yeah, trust me.
Oh, my God.
Those guns show up all the time.
Amber's got guns, too.
I say, Blaine, they make shirts in large, but he likes these small shirts.
Hey, will you tell? That's an XL, right, Amber? Is that not an XL? No,
medium, yeah.
No, she said medium, which is a small medium.
DJ's going to get your mic fixed up. Are we good on that, DJ?
Can we hear you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Hey, so let's start with the first big question out of the gate, and we start with your son, Jace.
Okay.
Born just before your one and only season here at BYU. Your husband's playing for the men, and so after having Jace, you come back to play for the women. How did you do that?
He was actually born after.
Was it after?
Yes.
I've got to get a new secretary.
Yes, you do.
So it was born after your career.
Just for the record, I don't have a secretary. I have an admin. I don't have a secretary. I'm not sure you're allowed to use that word anymore.
I don't know.
Executive.
So I had that wrong. Right out of the gate, I had that wrong. So you had Jace after you were done playing.
Yes. So I transferred down, had to sit out that red shirt year, right?
Yeah.
And I had gotten pregnant. We were married. Trent graduated. I had 1 year left to play. He got offers overseas. And so it was either I stay and play with a newborn or I go overseas.
And
I took one for the team.
You know what?
So Jace cost you a year of college basketball?
Cost me, but I chose to be a mom at that point in time.
Hey, this wasn't Jace's issue. Let's not put this on Jace. This is all about Trent.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a lot to do with Trent.
Yes, this is about Trent costing her one season. So.
All right, so I want to make sure I got some of my other facts straight. But in November 2000, the both of you are playing at the Marriott Center, right? Across the street, Lavelle Edwards is wrapping up his legendary career, and Brandon Doman, who was on earlier, was the quarterback that won his last game for him. Then they renamed the stadium Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and this is a really unique time on campus. What was it like?
I just remember the school spirit. I mean, it's crazy, right? Everyone goes to the games, and back then, I don't know how it is for the Rock now, but you had to camp out overnight in order to get tickets. Is that how it is?
Oh yeah, it still happens.
For the big ones.
And I remember my husband and some of our neighbors went down to camp out to get tickets anytime we could, right? And so we were all going to the games, and it was just the thing to go do. And so it was pretty sweet. I mean, you fall in love with BYU being in that type of atmosphere all the time.
Yeah, we Dave and I have taken pizzas out to the camper. Gonzaga game on the men's side every year. These last couple of years is just a huge game, and they're camping out for a couple of nights. And so Dave and I take some pizzas over.
One thing we've noticed too in our broadcast over the last few years is attendance at the women's games has shot way up. The talent on the floor is better, and the support is growing. Do you sense that as you get ready for your first season?
Yeah, women's basketball is fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I think it had a bad rap from way back when, but if you go watch in a gym, I mean, those girls win your hearts, right? And they just get after it, and they play for each other. And so I think that for me is why women's basketball is starting to get momentum. And I mean, it's not just here, it's nationally, right? Like I saw they were going to put the Final Four on ESPN or
ABC.
Yes,
yeah,
ABC.
yeah.
Yes. So they were going to move it, and then they're going to do it in conjunction with the guys, right? And so in the same city, same whatever. And
The beauty of that is when you get there, they can move that game to a Tuesday night.
Yes, they can.
Exactly.
Off of Sunday.
That's a good point.
And, Dave and I, we were sitting in at that Gonzaga women's game this last year, and I just kept turning to him at breaks and going, "This is an unbelievable college basketball environment. That Gonzaga BYU women's game in the Marriott Center with a phenomenal crowd, and just a great atmosphere, and I thought it rivaled a lot of men's games that we've done and been at over the years. And then Dave and I, we get the privilege of doing a bunch of the WCC tournament on the women's side, and the level of play. So it's not just about the environment, the skill level of women's basketball, I feel like, has just really gotten fantastic, and it's a really fun game to watch. Fundamentals are big time in a women's game.
And you're deeply experienced in the AAU level. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. We had a girl this summer. She dunked on us. I'm not on us, but during warm-ups, right? And this is, 16, 17
Like she threw it down. She didn't just get it over. She threw it down?
She threw it down in warm-ups. And it was all the camera crews were on our game because of her. And, those types of, the athleticism, everything, I feel like it's getting better and better all the time. So
Jetty takes over the head job after your last season at BYU. He goes on to win 351 games. He's a good friend of ours, and we've spent a lot of time with him over the years. And so at least you have some small shoes to fill over there, which is nice. But what did you learn about Jetty, even from a distance?
He was my ops when Trent was coaching, right? So I played, and then he also recruited my husband. And then his brother coached my husband. So the Judkins family is real for us, right? Like, we are family. And I just, I always learned from him, he could shoot the ball with his eyes closed backwards,
right?
Yeah,
he still can. He still can shoot it.
But we always, just the stories that he would tell and his experience, learning from him that way, I feel like his experience was just invaluable. And so, every time he talked, you always just soaked anything in that you could.
The difference with Steve Cleveland, when he took over the job, the team was 1-25 the year before. Mm-hmm. And you get a team that should be picked to win the WCC, even without Shaylee Gonzalez, and we'll talk about that later. But you pick up a team that's rolling. That's got to be great for the team and great for the new coach.
Yeah, no, those girls, not a lot of experience back, but they played against the best of the best, right? Every day in practice. So that they had that experience every single day in practice. May not be on the game, like on the actual court during a game, but they had it every day. And so they're hungry. They're wanting to go. And you could just see the fire in them.
And that's fun. Hey, so last year, you're coaching at Burley High School, right? We got that part right.
Yes.
Team goes 25-1. We got that right?
Yep.
25-1, and led by your daughter, Amari, right? Mm-hmm. And so
that's 3 for 3 on facts.
Hey, there we go. She announced she's coming to BYU, which is pretty awesome. But she got one more year of high school. She's now going to be playing right here down the road. Well, I can't give where we're at. Let's just say somewhere around here, Timpview High School is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's down the road. You're the 4A Coach of the Year by the Idaho Statesman, and then you're named the head coach at BYU. What a year! Holy cow! What was that like? My goodness.
I had somebody ask me today, was college basketball always my end goal, right? And obviously that's your dream. Like, you always want to, but when you're going through the process, you get to a point in your life where you don't think that dream is ever going to align with, right, what's your journey is. And so when I applied for it, you have big hopes, and then things start going through your head and you're like, can I? And then when it starts getting real towards the end, I was like, holy crap, this could actually happen. And then I get excited. Then I'm like, oh my gosh. So then you start planning. And then, so it was awesome, the experience and going through the process. I just was always trying to be myself the whole time.
Now, for those who don't know you, and they will come to know you, but those who don't know you, the notion of coming right out of high school and taking over a program that in 1 year is going to the Big 12 raised a few eyebrows. Might have raised your own. What do you say to folks who wonder, could a high school coach be ready for this job?
I am one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet, right? Yeah. And I'm not too prideful to say I know everything. I don't. And so what I don't know, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to work hard at it. And so a part of college experience and a part of that, like, yes, I don't have it. But on the flip side, my staff around me is what I wanted to go get. And those people that I put around me are the best of the best. And they each have their own strengths. And I specifically looked for that. I wanted all of us to be different, from recruiting, from what you bring on the court to how you are as a person, so you could relate to each individual kid. And so you got to put the best around you to help yourself. So that's where I went.
Lee Camard, you mentioned Lee, is the holdover from the old staff, and we've had a lot of interaction with Lee. You got Morgan Bailey. Is it Kaloff? Is that how you say it? Kaloff, Aaron. Yep. They're going to join you on the bench.
AK.
Yeah. Oh, we call her AK?
Him.
Oh, him, AK.
AK.
I like that. I like that's going to be way easier. Yeah. Okay. Call him AK.
If he had a bunch of kids, he had 47 kids, we'd call him AK-47.
AK-47. Natalie Lanehart and Stephen Arnold join you as well. We all watched Lee have a big impact on this program the last couple of years. What does that mean to have him hold over on the staff, and what do you expect him to contribute as you launch this new era in BYU basketball?
He brings a lot of continuity to what so we're not just coming in like cold feet, right? Like cold turkey. So he brings that continuity from the girls, and he brings a lot of connections on campus that we would need, because none of us have that. But he also has relationships with the girls that I feel like is super important to have those connections going forward.
Bluesville 1 has a question for you. What was your first major task once you arrived and got to work? It might have been answered a moment ago with your staff, but what was the first major task?
Getting a staff for sure, but getting my fingerprints to get in the door.
Yeah, because
I would show up
everything's the fingerprint, right?
Yes, every morning I would show up and I would just stand down there like, okay, how do I get in?
Into the basketball facility.
Head coach can't get in.
So I would call people upstairs, or I would wait for somebody to come in.
That's what we have to do. They don't let us in either.
No, we call
coach.
We're like, hey, we know some people that know some people here, but that's about it. So
protocol at BYU when being considered for head coaching positions, to interview with the general authority and with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that sponsors the school. You meet with Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, former president of BYU, a good friend of ours over the years, and a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, also on the Board of Trustees. What stood out to you the most during that interview with him that you can share with us?
How personable he was. Super intimidating, right, to go up there in the first place.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and they asked my husband to be with me, so he came. And I just remember looking across the desk, and he had a full report on me and a picture of us as a family from the airport, literally 2 days before. And I'm sitting there he is going to see straight through my soul. And you just get so nervous. But he started telling me, he started with jokes and just relaxed us and just actually talked to me personally and gave me really good advice through the process, right? And advice that I wrote down on my phone, and I just keep going back to that.
Like what? Like what would be the top of the thing?
Do the right things the right way.
Yeah.
And just kept reiterating that to me, that, if you do the right things the right way, the wins are going to come.
Yeah, what a unique experience with Elder Holland, where he was down here as the president of the university back when I was playing.
I don't know if there's a person on the earth that loves BYU more than President Holland.
He's amazing. So, a quick story. He was the first person to hold our oldest son, other than Brenda and I, because our oldest son came quite early when we were down playing in the Holiday Bowl.
Okay.
And so we rushed over to the hospital, had the baby. Then I went back, had team meal with the team. We went and played in the game. I picked Brenda up at the airport or at the hospital. We went straight out to the charter. And as we walked up the stairs, Elder Holland was the president of the university. He goes, "Hey, give me Jeffrey right there." And we're like, "Oh, his name's not Jeffrey." He was the first person. He held Kellen.
Oh yeah.
While we got settled in.
And he went with Jeffrey because it's his name. Is that why?
No, we're like, yeah. He and then Lavelle's like, his name's Lavelle. I'm like, no, it's absolutely not Lavelle. His name's Kellen, but Elder Holland has a way of making you feel like you're just loved when you're with him, doesn't he?
Yes. Before I left, that opportunity probably will never come, right? Like just to be in that room with him, just him.
Well, when they call you on a mission, you'll probably see him again.
Yeah, you'll see him again.
But I just was like, can I give you a hug? Like, I just had to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But he just makes you feel that way, and I love it.
I love that you go into his office and you see all his BYU stuff. You know, and we were there for an interview with KSL a few years back, and I said I mistakenly called him President Holland because he was the president when I was at BYU, and that's just. And I said I corrected myself. He goes, President Holland is the greatest title I've ever held in my life. Those years at BYU were the most meaningful years of my life. That's him saying it, and he means it, and it sounds like you felt that.
Yeah.
Your story, I think, sums up that in a nutshell, because you said it started out with you saying, oh, man, he's going to look right through my soul, and it ended up with, can I have a hug?
Yeah.
That's a major transit. Like, that's how it started, that how it ended. And I think anybody that's met Elder Holland would say that's probably how they feel when it starts, and that's always how they feel when it ends. That's really cool.
So when you left the room, did you go, okay, I got this job, I'm ready to go?
No.
Didn't?
No, I mean, you don't know, right? Like, and
So what were your feelings after that meeting?
We just got in the car or in the truck, and then we looked at each other, and I just was like, I want this so bad. Like, I just could just, you know. And then I got a call, hey, can you come down to BYU? And the way they said it to me, I just thought, okay, just be classy. Like, just take it like, man, you know, just say congratulations, and just move on, right? Like, just keep it together is basically what I was telling myself.
Because you didn't think you were going to get it?
No, I didn't. And so then we drove down, and the whole way I was just shaking. And then I got there, and they opened the door, and they're like, hey, Coach, and just kind of hugged me. And I was like, I just started crying.
So
like,
then you knew.
It just, I mean, it was real.
Who gave you that? Was that Tom and Brian? And like, who was it?
So Tom was in New York, and Brian was there. And so he's the one that pulled me in. And then they had Tom on FaceTime.
That's
great.
That's fantastic. So awesome. I love that whole story of meeting him and coming down and thinking he didn't have it and then getting it, and what a relief. But so now you're hired, you put your staff together, and now you got to assemble this talent on this team. And you find out that Shaylee Gonzalez is not going to stay. She's going to transfer, and she's going to go down, get in the transfer portal, and transfers out to Texas. That's a setback because she's a phenomenal player, right? And then, you know, I'm looking at this team that we covered in the tournament last year. No Paisley Harding, no Albiero, no Tegan Graham, no Sarah Hampson, no Shaylee Gonzalez. But I look at who's coming back, right? Falatea and Calvert and Gustin, who's tough as nails, right? And I go down that list, and I go, wow, you know what? There's some good pieces left. First of all, how did you handle this Shaylee wanting to transfer? Because she could have been phenomenal to build a team around for next year. And then what about this talent that's left? And what do you like most about it? And what can we expect?
Losing Shaylee did hurt. But her and I sat down, and I actually went down to visit her and her family. And she said she'd given BYU 4 years, right? Which is true. And so I can't fault a kid for wanting to go do that and see what she can do somewhere else. And she graduated this summer. And so I just wish her the best. Like, I love Shaylee, and she is somebody that my daughter looked up to forever and ever. And so I wish her no ill will at all. And so but coming back to the girls, I just said, look, there are some big shoes to fill now. And 86% of our offense is gone with those 4 seniors and Shaylee. Mm-hmm. So let's go. Like, let's go, right? And so you just see them light up. And you just see there's lots of minutes, there's lots of shots, there's lots of everything.
There's a lot more shots.
Yes.
Yep.
And so Lauren has the most experience coming back, and my son calls her the cheat code, because she's like a walking double-double, right?
Yep.
And so
she is.
And with Nani and Ari, and then now we added Gabby and Emma. I mean, just down the line, there's so many girls in there that are just waiting for their opportunity. And I'm really excited for them this year.
Now you can say that we're clueless, and sometimes you will say that.
Yeah.
But as we were talking, and you lose Gonzalez, okay, but if you've got to make sure at least one of these key players comes back, it's got to be the person who's like number 2 in the country in rebounding, because rebounding and second and third shots have been so critical for this team's success, and that's why Gustin's been so important. And so when Lauren was staying, I thought, okay, that's big win number 1 for you.
Yes. I remember Nani, because Lauren was on vacation for like the first week, and then she came back, and I remember Nani specifically saying, "Oh, I was so glad Lauren's back. I miss her screens." Like, not just rebounding, but she impacts a lot of things and on a lot of areas. And so, yeah, she's huge for us this year.
Yeah. She's an enforcer. We had games where BYU maybe wasn't shooting the ball that well, and she would, and on one offensive set, grab 2 or 3 offensive boards, and finally BYU makes a shot on their 4th shot attempt down the floor. That's backbreaking for the other team, and she brings that. Who else is really standing out? I know it's just summer workouts right now, but is there anybody that's standing out that the outside of Lauren that you're going, man, great job of taking on a leadership role?
I think Nani and Ari and Gabby, their playmaking skills are going to come be a key for us this year, because any one of those 3 can play on ball or off ball, and then add Emma with pick and pop, and she's worked really, really hard on a 3-point shot. And then Rose with her athletic ability on the defensive end is crazy. And today, Amanda Barcelo, like, I was shocked by her defense. She's been struggling all summer with fractures, like stress fractures, right? And so today, she took 2 weeks off, came back, and then she was good to, like, I'm standing here looking at these girls like, wow, like, you know what I mean? We've got a lot of pieces, and if they can just come together. And the one thing that they do really, really well is they play for each other, right? And Smiler is another one.
Right.
Between Smiler and Ari, knockdown shooters, like.
She had some big shots last year.
Yes, she does. And then I have 2 freshmen. Like, it's a lot. Like, we have a lot of pieces. I'm excited.
There's a Hampson on the team, right?
Yes, Heather.
Is there ever
There's
not a
been one
Hampson
for
on the
30
team?
years.
Like, I feel like I played with a Hampson, right? So.
And that's another one that I would say.
I played with a Hampson mom, because Teresa played when I was playing, by the way.
Yeah, her fun fact always is I'm 6'5" or whatever she is, she says, and I'm the smallest in my family. Like, that's always her fun fact,
my
and
goodness.
that's crazy.
That's true.
Is she the most athletic, though? If she's the shortest, she better be the most
She's
athletic.
She's come a long way, and I think a lot of that goes back to last year, always playing against the starters. Like, she's really impressed me this summer.
BYU women's head coach Amber Whiting is on the Wise Guys here tonight. As far as your schedule goes, and I think you want to save it for Sports Nation with Spencer and Jerem, since it's not out officially, but can you give us at least the first giant, maybe just, we won't ask for much. How about the biggest fish that you've reeled in on the schedule? Can you tell us that? And those guys will forgive us.
We know who it is,
see
but
them
we're
all
not
the
going to
time.
say it. You have to say it.
They've already put it out there. So.
Oh, they have?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. So South Carolina.
We're trying to,
All they did was win the title
waiting.
last year, right?
Yeah, that's all they did. We're waiting for a couple contracts to come back so
Okay.
that we can go on Sports Nation and officially release everything. But I mean, that's huge, right? And I've just told my girls from the very beginning, like, let's go fight. Let's go get in the fight. You got to play the best of the best to see where we are.
And you get a return visit, which
And we
is
get a
huge,
return
right?
visit,
That's
yes.
So will they come next year or year
Yes,
after?
and that's been a huge thing for my 23 class to like gear up for, right? And to recruit with and everything.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's turn the page recruiting. We just had Brandon Doman on. We were talking about his team. He's like, we had 8 draft picks on the football team I played on that started out 12-0 and were ranked in the top 5. He goes, isn't it amazing that the number of NFL guys you have on the team translates to wins? Talent wins it. You got to be able to recruit, right? Mm-hmm. So how have you been received so far as you've been starting this process of recruiting by BYU, representing BYU, and the prospect of playing in the Big 12?
I don't think I can name names, actually.
No, you can't name names.
Because it's,
so I'm just in general,
No,
how have you
You're talking
don't get me
principle.
outside the rules.
No, we'll make sure you don't
okay,
get in trouble.
Perfect.
No names. I'm just generally, how have you been received with that message?
I sit down with people, and I make sure that I am personal with them. I make sure, like, they can see who I am, see what I stand for, and I always try and have them come on campus, see our practices, and I go through, like, my culture book with them, and I let them ask me anything, and I just look them in the eyes and answer, because I want it to be coming from me. Yeah. If you, throughout Jason Amari's recruiting process, the number one thing I learned in recruiting is if the coach is personable with you, those kids connect. And then that's who you're going to play for, right? So I always wanted to make sure, and I feel like, I've got 4 23s committed and a 24 commit, so I feel like we're kind of
you're on the road, and they're the kind of talent that you feel you guys can go compete in the Big 12?
Yes.
Now, Amari is committed to, your daughter is committed to play at BYU, and
We can talk about that.
We can talk about that, but we'll invite you back once signing day comes, where we can break down our game and all of that stuff. If you'll come back for that. But in that process, did you ever once remind her, because she had committed to Oregon, but did you ever once remind her that you had brought her into this world?
That should have been part of the whole recruiting process.
Now, how do you? That's like the number one thing. You can't be top. No one else can say, no, I brought you into this. There's just the one person. It happens to be you.
Her and I have a really unique relationship, and I will say that she's a lot like me. And if you back me into the corner, I'm gonna come out fighting, right? Or if you tell me to do one thing, I'm gonna do the opposite. That's just the fight in me, right? So I had to let her come to that decision on her own, and for those purposes, but for the purposes of, there's gonna be hard days, and when those hard days come, you can't rely on, my mom told me to go there, right? You have to rely on that. I got my own confirmation for myself. This is what I need to do, so that, when you hate the coach one day, you did it by yourself. You made that decision yourself.
Does she ever give you the sass that like I coached some of my kids when they were younger, and I've told this story before, but I was trying to get my oldest son, Kellen, to run a screen the right way. And I played some quarterback in my life, right? We won a national championship and I was out on the field, but evidently I don't know what I'm talking about. So I said, Kellen, you're not doing it right. 3 times I tell him, Kellen, you're not doing it right. He turns around in front of the whole team and he goes, Dad, you haven't played in a long time. I was like, get out of the huddle. Get out.
Send right to the bench.
Go over there and stand by yourself. You are out. How's that? You've coached her already.
Yes. Yeah.
How's that going to be at the college level, coaching your own? And are you going to get some sass?
Well, let me just say, so her freshman year, she called me mom in practice.
Oh.
And she ran the whole practice. So we check it at the door. She'll call me Amber right now outside of practice, right? Because it's just easier to, instead of flipping from mom to Amber, it's just Amber. But we have that, I don't know. She just knows how I like things and how I want things, and she knows I don't tolerate, right? So she'll just get in and do it because she knows that I'm not going to let her off the hook.
I think we've all had experiences where our dad was our coach, and I go back to T-ball and all through. There's something that's awesome about, and we've interviewed many coaches as they've come through, who've got kids on their team. There's just something awesome about being able to coach your own, whether it's a son or daughter. And I just think it's awesome. I can't imagine anyone passing on that chance, and clearly she hasn't, and you haven't, because you did it at Burley and now you do it here. But is there anything better than that?
No. I mean, I need to be careful of and I did at Burley a lot, but I would take it home with us, right? Mm-hmm. And so I need to be careful of that. And I just, especially now, the pressure is even 10 times.
So you say, look, if you don't box out, you can't have dinner tonight.
No, it would be like I don't know. So if we had a bad game or something happened, we come home and, we're supposed to leave it at the gym. And I'd come home and I'd go down to her room and then we start watching film. And then she would come upstairs and we start watching film. I'm like, so.
Where's Trent in all this? Is he the buffer in this whole thing?
He was supposed to be, but then he would get in on it too.
He's eating ice cream, he says. That's what he's doing. He's just an innocent bystander. Hey, the big question, can she shoot it like a Whiting? That's the main thing.
There's debate of who's the best shooter in the family. And
here's a big question. Go ahead.
So $1 million is on the line. Okay, and Trent, he's not on camera, but he can be.
We can see it.
Whoever makes the most free throws in a row, you and Trent, who wins the $1 million?
Don't look at him. Just look at us.
I do.
Are you a better free throw shooter than Trent?
No, he is. He walks up and doesn't even warm up, and he'll beat us.
Okay, so what about now? What if we add Jason Amari?
Now we've expanded.
We've expanded. So 4 of you who can make the most free throws in a row right now.
In Hawaii, this actually happened. We were playing. Why?
Not $1 million on the line.
Why can't we go on vacation and just be on vacation? We got to go find
the
court.
Can't.
Right. I don't understand it. But so every night we go to the court, and so one night they were just shooting. Jason Murray having this competition, 5 spots. Well, Mari steps up, makes her 4. Jay steps up, makes his 4, and then Trent gets up off the bench, sitting over there, walks out and makes 5.
Doesn't even need to warm up.
No, and so we never heard the end of it the whole trip.
So he would be the reigning champ.
Trent.
I have to go with it.
All good answers.
I love it.
One of these days at practice, we'd like to see a showdown between the two of you.
Yep.
And see how that goes. All right, we've got 5 questions for you, and we'll let you go. You ready?
Okay.
These are rapid fire.
You don't
This
have
is
to
so
think
Cougar
about them. Just
Nation can
the
get to
first
know
thing
you.
that comes to your head, so everybody gets to know you. We ask every guest these. Favorite sports movie?
Ooh, Hoosiers.
That's it. You know what Doman
Brandon
was
Doman
that?
said it, and Marie Osmond said it.
Really?
Yeah, so
And I'll say that it's classic.
I said Remember the Titans, but
Of course, it had to be a basketball movie
Trent,
from
what's
the
yours?
Whitings.
Field of Dreams.
Baseball over
Baseball, which if you build it, they will come alive. Okay. Favorite band or singer?
Ooh. Me and my family have funny songs, but we like Notorious B.I.G. back in the day.
Hey, I like. Wait, is
I'll
Notorious?
be honest, I didn't see that coming.
No, there's backstory. Like, there's this classic band when we go to, where is it, Grand America?
And they
Yeah.
play Notorious B.I.G.?
But it's like the classics, right?
It's all
And
the old
so
stuff.
my
It's
kids-
big. It's
yeah.
Biggie Smalls. It's
Yes,
like
it's fun.
But you're
We-
talking about East Coast rap.
No, my kids, they go to Walmart and they have those shirts there and they buy them and they wear
Wow.
them. And it's,
Okay.
yeah, it's
All
So
right.
funny.
I moved out
That's a
from
new
New
one for
York,
us.
and I all of a sudden then I was like a Snoop and Dre guy, and my friends back home were like they were ready to disown me. Like, you're going West Coast? What's wrong with you? So, okay, so Notorious B.I.G. I actually kind of love that.
All right, favorite
I
breakfast
try to
cereal.
get DJ, our resident disc jockey, but also who's our technical director, and our music that we play to come in to play hip hop.
And I keep paying DJ to
and
not.
he makes them play like AC/DC crap kind of
So, like,
stuff.
you're doubling down on that?
And so, but today we had some hip hop tracks coming in, so
Nice.
in honor of you and the family.
Been
Okay.
shaky. Favorite breakfast cereal?
I like oatmeal. Sorry.
What?
Steel cut oats with honey, almonds, blueberries.
Trent, tell me you
Almond
eat
milk.
sugar cereal. French toast. What is
Oatmeal with honey. Okay.
like up until this point? Everything was
sorry.
great. Now
Everything
I'm a
was
little
fine.
concerned about the oatmeal
now
thing.
all of a sudden,
That's
like,
healthy. So,
what?
Yeah,
okay.
you gotta have steel cut. It can't just be regular.
So
oatmeal.
you guys lived in Italy, right?
Yes.
Brendan and I spent a lot of time in Italy. One of our favorite countries in the world. I know it's yours too. Favorite Italian dish?
Risotto by far.
Risotto.
Can you make it?
Yes.
You make it good?
Yes.
That's your
I
thing?
have a lemon risotto I make or a Parmesan risotto I make.
When players come over to your house, is that what you make?
It's easy. It's a staple at our house every Sunday.
Cool.
12 years over there.
12 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Favorite city in Italy? That's not part of this, but I want to know.
Ooh, Rimini was nice. It was right on the beach.
Really?
So that was
Yeah.
and it's where we played, right? So it's not like that becomes like home. Like, obviously we love Rome and Milan. Venice, but
So Trent's playing over there, and you're there supporting him. Did you ever get the notion that someday you'd be the head coach at BYU and he'd have to listen to you and support you?
no,
Here we are.
never. We went through several film sessions and game books though along the way.
Very
It was
good.
fun.
Very good. All right. Favorite piece of advice from your mom or dad?
My dad has a good one. Don't let your highs get too high or your lows get too low.
It's pretty good.
So you
It
stay
sounds like
kind of-
something Lavelle would say,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Thank
does.
you.
Can
Yeah.
get you through a 34-game season,
Yes.
right?
that's
Because there's highs and there's lows, and it's just the nature of the beast.
Yes,
it
it
seems.
is. Yes, it is.
Lane had some lows, and he had some highs. He's got a national championship ring, but
Can't wear it because my fingers are too fat.
every
No,
now and
actually-
then, every now and then he'll bring it out just so there's evidence.
We did a
Said it
TV
right
show.
there.
We did a TV show a few weeks ago, and it was something about championships. They're like, "Hey, wear your ring." And I said, "I can't. My fingers are too fat." But I put it on and it fit.
Yeah.
But I hadn't lost any weight, so I don't know what happened. So
What's your prediction for the football game on Saturday? What's your score?
Ooh, BYU 27-17.
27-17.
Low scoring.
Okay.
Okay.
It's first game. Defense. It's all about D.
Yes.
You know, I would figure someone who eats oatmeal with honey
Oh my
would
gosh.
go with a lower score.
Yeah,
of
she's
the game.
conservative. She's talking about D.
Yeah,
Is that? Yep, I get it.
something like that.
That fits in. It fits in now that we know a little bit about Amber. So
Hey, thanks for coming.
bet.
so
It's good
glad
to have you
so
here.
glad. We're so excited for this new era and BYU women's basketball. We'll be there all along the way, covering it, supporting it, broadcasting it.
Perfect.
We're looking forward to working with you.
And when you
Over the
announce your
years.
class, when you got some time, we'd love you to come back
Yep.
and that way we can talk X's and O's with your daughter and the group you're bringing in.
Perfect.
And then we'll invite the NCAA to listen to us, and we'll all
because
enjoy the show together.
what we do on this show is we keep you out of trouble. So,
Good,
And all
good.
the shows we do at BYU too.
Hey, one quick question from Bluesville. Have you experienced Kids Day yet? And if you haven't, would say earplugs, number
Oh,
one.
Every time I watch that game on, I would
It is
mute it.
insane.
Sorry. It's so
And
loud.
they're screaming the whole time with nothing going on.
It's the pitch. The pitch is so high
Somebody asked me if we could cancel that, and I said no.
I can't deal with it.
But
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And those fourth graders are so excited to not be in school. They're not even
fun.
sure which teams are half the time.
It's a great tradition,
but
so it'll be fun.
All right, we'll see you at practice.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.
Amber Whiting is the new women's head coach at BYU, and we thank Trent for driving her over, her chauffeur tonight. And Jack will get you out the door, and we'll see you again.
And it's good.
And that wasn't near as bad as you thought, was it? That's how we roll.
Yep.
That's how we roll.
And I'm so glad to hear that Trent is still the undisputed best shooter in the house.
I'll be honest, I wasn't quite sure just reading over things.
You know what? I kind of always root for the old guy. I
remember
always
when,
root for the old guy.
So Trent comes down here from Utah, and he lights up UNLV for 26.
Yes, he did.
He was on fire that night. I think that's your career high at BYU. Yeah. I think so. And we called it. We called all the games.
Yeah, we called a lot of those. When
we're like, hey, this is Whiting.
The best thing about Trent is that there's redemption. Like, you can make a bad choice. This is what he proved in life. You can make a bad choice, and then you can redeem yourself by leaving Utah, coming to BYU.
That's right.
And
wise
being a star.
choice.
And being a star. So.
All right, Whitings. We'll see you later. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much. Great to see
Appreciate
you guys.
it.